A lot of things this case has stopped Boozie from doing. Traveling, performing, living free, all on pause. He sat down recently and said, "I just want to get it over with. I'm ready to accept my guilty plea." You could hear the exhaustion in his voice. A man ready to stop running from the storm, just to find peace again. But while Boozie was preparing to face the truth, another man was celebrating. Loud, ruthless, and unapologetic. Charleston White, the loudest troll in hip-hop. And this time, he wasn't just laughing, he was dancing on Boozie's downfall. Scene 1. The case that wouldn't die. For years, Boozie's life has been a tug-of-war with the law. His 2023 gun case was dismissed, a small miracle. Fans cheered, thinking the nightmare was over. But then the feds circled back in 2024 and reopened it as a federal charge. The man who once rapped about beating the system was now right back in it. Boozie said, "I've been fighting this for 3 years. I trust God, but I'm tired." That's not just frustration, that's fatigue. Decades of battles with courts, critics, and health issues were breaking him down. And while his fans prayed, Charleston White celebrated. He went live the second the news broke, grinning ear to ear, calling it karma. He mocked Boozie, bragging that he'd been waiting for this day. Cold-blooded. But that's Charleston's world. Pain for others, profit for him. Scene 2. The origin of a feud. To understand this chaos, you have to rewind to 2022. Kanye West had just dropped his controversial White Lives Matter stunt, and the culture exploded. Boozie was one of the first to check Kanye publicly, calling it disrespectful to black folks. But Charleston White? He did what Charleston always does, flipped the script. He jumped online blasting Boozie for speaking on Kanye, calling him a hypocrite and fake activist. From that moment, it was war. Charleston didn't just come for Boozie. He came for his family. He insulted Boozie's son, Tootie Raw, and even T.I.'s son, King Harris, calling them names, mocking their looks, saying they'd end up in jail. That crossed every line imaginable. Fans waited for Boozie to fire back, but this time he didn't. In an interview with Tony the Closer, Boozie explained he couldn't risk speaking out too wild, especially with his own legal troubles. He said he wouldn't let Charleston bait him into something reckless. For the first time, Boozie showed restraint, not fear but wisdom. Scene 3. Charleston goes too far. But Charleston wasn't done. When Boozie's son clapped back online, Charleston took it darker. He went live saying, "I hope your daddy dies from that diabetes. I hope they forget to send him insulin." That wasn't trolling. That was pure venom. Soon after, Tootie was arrested on a gun charge, and Charleston jumped back online claiming he called the cops himself. He bragged about sending in pictures and tipping off authorities. No proof, no shame, just chaos. By this point, the internet wasn't sure if Charleston was joking anymore. It felt like he was actively working to destroy Boozie, mentally, publicly, and legally. Scene 4. The arrest heard around the net. Then came San Diego, 2023. Boozie had just left court when federal agents swooped in and arrested him again. Fans were stunned. But Charleston? He turned it into content. He went live pretending to preach like a pastor, calling it God's plan. He compared Boozie to Daniel in the lion's den, mocking his faith while turning his pain into punchlines. Even Boozie's critics thought it was too far. But that's the thing about Charleston. The more people hate him, the stronger he gets. Scene 5. Keeping cool in the fire. Months later, Boozie finally spoke out on Vlad TV. You could see the exhaustion in his face. He said straight up he didn't even want Vlad interviewing Charleston anymore, especially after those comments about his son. But still, Boozie stayed calm. He made one thing clear. He wasn't scared. He was just focused on staying free. He knew Charleston wanted a reaction. But if he took the bait, it could cost him everything. So he stayed silent, while Charleston kept shouting. And every time Boozie's name hit the blogs, Charleston's name was right beside it. Scene 6. Aiden Ross, Vlad, and the circus. Then came another twist. Aiden Ross, one of the biggest streamers online, announced that Boozie would be on his stream. It was supposed to be a major moment, but drama followed fast. Boozie backed out, not wanting to get tangled in Charleston's mess. But Aiden flipped the story, claiming he turned Boozie down out of loyalty to Charleston White. That lie exploded online. Fans started clowning Boozie like he'd been rejected, when really, he was trying to avoid more chaos. The story blew up so bad, DJ Vlad had to step in, blasting Aiden for supporting someone like Charleston, a man who'd praised Hitler and disrespected victims of the Holocaust. Even people who didn't like Boozie started realizing Charleston's influence had gone too far. He wasn't just trolling anymore, he was corrupting the culture. Scene 7. The pressure mounts. By 2024, things got darker. Charleston claimed Boozie was warning promoters not to book him. Then, he bragged that he'd already called the feds about Boozie. He mocked Boozie's diabetes again, cracking cruel jokes online, calling himself protected by the FBI. To Charleston, it was comedy. To Boozie, it was psychological warfare. He even said inmates were calling him from prison, asking when he'd be joining them. Imagine that, trying to stay out of trouble and still feeling trapped by voices from inside. At that point, it was clear Boozie wasn't just fighting the law. He was fighting to stay sane. Scene 8. The hypocrisy exposed. Then, the internet flipped the script on Charleston. Old footage resurfaced from when he was 14, showing he'd testified in a robbery case, sending another teen to prison. In street culture, that's the ultimate betrayal. The same man who called rappers rats was now exposed as one himself. But Charleston didn't back down. He said, "I wasn't a snitch. I was a survivor." That contradiction, owning his hypocrisy while mocking others, is exactly why he stays viral. He's untouchable because he doesn't play by the rules. Scene 9. The breaking point. Now fast forward to today. Boozie's finally ready to take the plea. He's not running anymore, just accepting whatever comes next. He told fans, "God don't make mistakes." You can feel the sadness in those words. Not regret, but surrender. After decades of fighting, the music industry, the streets, the courts, Boozie just wants peace. And while he's trying to make peace with God, Charleston's still online dancing, celebrating like he won a championship. To him, Boozie's pain is proof that he was right all along. That's how twisted this feud has become. One man's downfall is another man's content. Scene 10. The legacy of chaos. The internet is divided. Some say Boozie's getting what he deserves, that after years of wild behavior and legal issues, karma caught up. Others see him as a survivor, a man who's been through hell and still standing, even while trolls profit from his pain. But one thing's certain, this beef isn't about clout anymore. It's about humiliation. Charleston made it his mission to embarrass Boozie at every turn, from his health to his family to his faith. And no matter how much Boozie prays or pleads, Charleston just won't stop. Final scene, the unfinished story. But here's the twist. If Boozie does serve time, it might not end his story.